So I've got to do some work on my snowblower. Anybody that knows small engines or snowblowers, anything at all, can see exactly why I have to do some work on it. I haven't figured it out yet. I'll show you. Here's the problem right there. That's supposed to be attached over here. That's I'm going to blame that on Nemo, or whatever that little bit of a snowstorm was called. So I got to try to get this unit here off. And what I'm seeing, whoever painted this motor didn't mask the screws before they painted it. So I've got to dig a bunch of paint out of those screw heads before I do it. And this being the first time I've ever fixed a pull cord, could prove interesting. Okay, so this could prove to be a bigger problem than I anticipated. The heads of these screws are stripped, which means they're going to be real fun to try to get out. I think I'm going to have to take the whole housing off and take the screws out from the inside. Which means there's a bolt there. And let's see, 1 there, 2 there, 3. And 4. But there's also this cover, which means there's 2 screws here. And the starter button, which means I gotta take those 2 out. So I can take this case off. And at least 1 bolt in the fuel tank bracket. May have to loosen these ones off. And I think if I get this housing off, maybe I can get those bolts out from the inside. Put pliers on them and turn them out and replace them or something. Right, so I got it off. In order to get it off, I had to pull the fuel tank. Glad to put that valve in there. And the carburetor and primer cover, starter button mount and all that. This bracket, I don't even know what that used to do. I'm not going to bother putting it back on. And I had to feed the fuel line out of here, which is going to make putting it on that much more fun because I can try to feed it back through. But it's on. What I had to do was turn this back so there's a little bit of tension on the spring, feed the frayed end of it up through that little tiny hole there, and then catch it from this side and pull it out through. Put a pair of needle nose vice grips on it down here to hold it while I put the end on it. The cord's a little shorter than it used to was, but I'm hoping once the machine's warmed up, I'll start at the electric start, and once it's warmed up, I'm hoping that'll be enough to start the machine. I've still got 2 feet of pull cord there. That's assuming the machine will still run, because that bracket, unbeknownst to me, because I don't have a whole lot of experience with small engines, was held on with the head bolts. There's 2 of them. There's what it's supposed to look like. You see the problem? So I'm just hoping the machine will still run. still got compression. So I'm hoping it's not going to be a problem. Hoping. We shall see. Oh yeah. I also had to take my my chute crank off in order to fit that cover out through there. Anyway, stick her back together and see what happens, I guess. Alright, so I got the starter cover back on, I got the fuel tank back on, I got the fuel turned on. Let's prime it and give it a couple of cranks and see what happens. Turn it a little bit. There we go. Alright, so it starts and runs. I put that side cover back on, put the starter button back on. I gotta put my crank for my chute back on. Put another shear pin in it. I had to cut off the nail that I had put in it for a shear pin so I could get the crank off, so I could get this off. I did notice, however, that it is leaking here and here. Right where those two broken exhaust bolts go. Or exhaust bolts, head bolts. You can't see it on this crappy camera, but it started up. I saw exhaust coming out of there. I have a feeling there's going to be a problem. That means I'm probably going to have to try to find another motor for a 44-year-old snowblower. Maybe I can find a newer motor, a little more horsepower. I don't know, we'll see. I gotta go ahead and have my supper and probably come back out and finish putting this together after supper. Right, so I got the side cover back on. Starter button remounted. My battery's gonna die. My crank for my chute hooked up. Stuck a nail through it and bent it over for a pin. And there's not much else to do with it but shut the camera off before my battery dies.